안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
I'm Korean teacher 현옥장.
And I'm Gerhard. Today we're going to talk about an important topic in Korean culture, politeness.
That's right. Politeness in Korean is a fundamental aspect of language, and it's quite complex, even for native speakers.
Really? If it's challenging for Koreans, I can imagine it's even more so for us learners.
So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, don't worry, it's normal.
That's at least reassuring. So how should we approach learning these Korean politeness forms?
The key is to learn them step by step, step by step. You don't need to understand everything all at once. Korean politeness isn't something you can master overnight. We will introduce the basic concepts now, and as you gain more experience with the language, everything will start to make more sense. Let's begin by understanding why politeness is so important in Korean. In Korean culture, the way you speak to someone shows your respect for them. This respect is conveyed through different speech levels and forms.
So it's more than just saying please or thank you.
Yes, much more. In Korean, politeness affects verbs, nouns, pronouns, particles, and even the structure of sentences. It depends on who you are talking to, who you are talking about, and the context of the conversation.
So using the wrong level of politeness can be a big deal?
Yes. Using an inappropriate form can be extremely rude and might offend the person you are speaking with. But don't worry too much. People understand that learners might make mistakes.
I see. So what factors determine which politeness form to use?
The main factors are age, social status, and the context of the conversation. Even a small age difference can affect which form is appropriate. It's not just about respecting those who are older or hold a higher status. It's also important to recognize and respect those who are younger or have a low status.
So it's like treating everyone according to their place in hierarchy?
Exactly. If you treat someone of lower status as if they were your superior, it can also make them feel uncomfortable. Similarly, not showing appropriate respect to those above you can be seen as rude.
So it's not just respecting people of higher status, people above us, but also people below us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about the different levels of politeness in Korean. The two main categories are Jondaenmal, which is the polite or formal speech, and Banmal, which is informal speech.
Okay, so Jondaenmal is polite and Banmal is informal.
Correct. Within Jondaenmal, there are two commonly used endings, the nida form and the yo form. Both are polite, but they are used in different contexts. Nida form, used in formal situations like presentations, public announcements, news broadcasts, and official settings. Yo form, used in everyday conversations and informal settings where politeness is still required.
And Banmal is just the base form without these endings?
Yes, Banmal is the casual form used among close friends, children, family, or when speaking to someone younger. Here's how a verb changes in different forms. The word 먹다. 먹다 means to eat. Let's see how the ending of the word changes. 먹습니다. Formal polite. nida form. 먹어요. Polite. 요 form. 먹어. Informal. In casual speech, 반말. You can simply remove 요 from the polite form 먹어요. So, when do we use 존댓말 and when do we use 반말? Generally, use 존댓말 when speaking to strangers, people older than you, people in higher social or professional position. Use 반말, informal speech, with close friends of the same age or younger people, especially children or family members.
Are there exceptions to these rules?
Absolutely. Context and personal relationship can influence which form is appropriate. Actually, 존댓말 can also be used with family, friends, and other people close to you. That's why politeness is not so difficult at first. In most situations, you will use the you form, and if in doubt, you can always use the you form.
So if we are unsure, it's safer to use the you form?
Exactly. It's polite and appropriate in most situations. Age is important in Korea. People born in the same year go to the same class, same school, and become friends. However, if you are 1 year older, we have to address them as older sister, 언니, 누나, or older brother, 오빠, 형, and the relationship is different.
Can we look at some everyday examples to illustrate politeness?
Yes, of course. Let's consider Mina, who is 7 years old, and Subin, who is 9. Does Mina need to use 존댓말 with Subin because Subin is 2 years older? What do you think?
I would guess that in elementary school, children use Banmal with each other, regardless of age difference.
Correct.
Correct.
However, in middle and high school, students start using 존댓말 with older students.
Got it, yes. How about politeness at university?
At university, things are a bit different. Admission year can be more important than age. Students often address seniors, those who enrolled earlier, with 존댓말, even if they are the same age or younger.
That's interesting. So the hierarchy is based on when you start at university, not actually on age.
Yes. For example, my student number starts with 99.
So you enrolled in 99.
Yes.
Yes.
So a friend who also has the number 99, but is a year older, is considered a peer. And we use 반말. I don't address her as a sister. I just call her by her name.
What if someone entered the year before?
They are considered seniors.
Even if they are younger?
Yes. We use 존댓말 with them, even if they are younger. This is from when I was in university back in 1999.
Long time ago.
Yes.
Yes.
According to my niece Soyun, who is currently a university student, things are different nowadays. These days, with more people entering university later, the students refer to each other as sister or brother based on age, regardless of admission year. And they use informal speech, 반말, with each other, unless there is a significant age difference.
So Korean politeness is also changing. It's not as strict anymore,
Yes,
becoming
yeah.
less strict. And how about the workplace?
In the workplace, we usually use 존댓말 with colleagues to maintain professionalism. Everyone uses polite speech to show mutual respect.
So it doesn't, if it's the same status, like if it's not your boss, then everyone is using the same 존댓말.
So even if you are older than your manager, you would use 존댓말. With bosses or managers, we definitely use 존댓말.
So even if a superior is younger, their position warrants respect. You need to respect them because the position is more important than the age.
Yes, that's right.
So if a boss or manager is older, is it okay for them to use 반말 with you?
It depends on the company culture and individual preferences. They might use 반말, but in general, it's appropriate for everyone to use 존댓말 in the workplace.
So it would be a little bit rude, or they would use their power to use 반말 with you, is it?
It could be.
Not very nice. So even with colleagues of the same age, you would use 존댓말?
Yes. It's standard to use polite forms unless there is mutual agreement to use 반말.
So if you get along really well, you could agree with someone to use 반말. And then how about friends? How would you talk to your friends?
With friends of the same age, 반말 is common, of
Uh-huh.
course. Mhm.
But same age means exactly the same.
Yes.
Yes.
If there is an age difference, even among friends, you might continue using 존댓말.
Ah.
It depends on how close you are and the age difference.
Mhm.
Even if someone is slightly older, you might still use 반말 if you are close.
Mhm. You need to get the feel for how politeness
Yes.
works over
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
You don't have to know everything right away.
Mhm.
Mhm. Can you give an example for politeness from your life with like relationships to your friends?
Sure. So I have a friend, Lira, who is 2 years younger. Despite being close, she still uses 존댓말 with me because we met as adults.
So you were just from the beginning used to using Jondaenmal when you were not yet very close, and then you just kept using Jondaenmal.
Yes.
Uh-huh. But it's in truth, it's flexible among friends.
Yes. So
Yes.
it's been almost 20 years since Lira and I got to know each other. These days, she uses a mix of formal and informal speech with me. 존댓말 and 반말.
And you don't mind.
I don't mind.
If she starts only speaking Banmal to you from now on, then you also wouldn't mind.
Yeah. But always be cautious. When in doubt, start with 존댓말.
Ah.
Another friend is 6 years older than me. We also got to know each other as adults. And we use formal speech 존댓말 with each other. Even though we are very close.
Ah. And then how about family? In families, is it Banmal that you use with your family?
No, usually. In families, 반말 is typically used. But again, it depends on the family's dynamics.
You mentioned earlier that you use 존댓말 with your father.
Yes. Even my mom also uses formal speech 존댓말 with my dad.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. But I use 반말 with my mother.
I see. But it's not that you need to respect your father more, and that's why you use 존댓말. It's just the dynamic in your family.
Yes.
So even with a family, politeness can vary.
Exactly. And sometimes the situation dictates the form. For instance, if I'm with my mother in front of her friends, I might switch to 존댓말.
So it doesn't only matter how you talk to a person, but then also the situation that you're in, the other people that are present.
Yeah. In formal settings or in front of others, you might switch to 존댓말, even with someone you usually use 반말 with. For example, in a professional setting, even close colleagues might use 존댓말 in meetings or when clients are present. In private or casual settings, you might use 반말 with close friends or family. You will develop a sense for which form is appropriate. Don't worry too much.
I know this might seem overwhelming, but remember, you don't have to master all of this right now. We will continue to explore politeness levels in many future lessons. Now, what's the best way for beginners to handle politeness right now?
For now, stick to using the you form in most situations. It's polite and widely used in everyday conversations.
In fact, in this beginner's playlist, the main resource on this channel, we mostly use the yo form. But that's just the start. In Korean, there are many levels of politeness depending on who you're speaking to and the context. For example, the she form is used when talking about someone older, so not to someone older, but to someone about someone older or of higher status, unlike the yo form, which you use when speaking to someone. So you could use 반말 to speak to someone, not attach yo to the verb, but you still need to use the she form because you speak about someone who is of higher status or older.
Yeah, that's right.
But as we said, don't worry about this for now. We will only cover she, for example, in lesson 80 and 81. So there is still a long way to go, and there is no need to worry now. There are also unique polite verbs, adjectives, and particles. For example, the standard verb for eat or drink is
먹다,
먹다, but you would use
드시다.
드시다 to show respect. It means the same thing, but is more polite. Again, no need to stress about that. We will cover these topics as we go, but no more major politeness topics until lesson 81 and
80? 81.
80 and 81. Yes. We, for example, have a restaurant lesson sometime in the future where we learn the verb, the polite verb for to eat. But that's just one small piece of politeness you learn along the way, and that's how we continue. Again, no need to worry. You don't need to learn these other forms right now. As you get more comfortable with Korean and encounter different situations, you will naturally start picking up on when to use which politeness form. For now, the yo form is all you need. And as you progress, we will guide you step by step through the many ways to express politeness.
Thank you for joining us today.
I'm looking forward to our next lesson.
See you next time.
See you next time.
안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.